welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nikki and I am the face behind Whiskey Business. I'm a stay-at-home mom who loves to cook, and you will always find me in the kitchen. Seriously, like any time of the day, I'm in the kitchen. Just kidding. I apologize in advance for any background noise that you hear. I have the dryer going and my son is watching cartoons. Today I am making one of my super highly requested videos. You guys have been after me on Instagram to post this recipe and share it with you guys, and I am super excited to finally be posting this. Today I am making my arroz con pollo, or my Cuban style rice with chicken. So there are a ton of variations of this recipe. You can literally Google arroz con pollo and I'm sure you'll find a million recipes. This is how we make it, how we like it in our house, and I invite you to try it because it is delicious. A lot of you have been asking me to share this. A lot of you have wanted to see it because you heard that I make it in my electric pressure cooker. Now, today I'm going to be making it in my electric pressure cooker. However, if you don't have one and you have an Instant Pot, or you have a standard pressure cooker, or you just have a regular pot where you cook rice, go ahead and use it. The measurements for spices will be exactly the same. There's no need to change anything. The only thing that you may have to adjust is your cooking time, depending on which pot or machine you are using, and your water, depending on how your pot or your appliance cooks. If you don't have one of these, I recommend highly that you invest in one, especially if you are a mom, you work, you're busy. You throw your food in here and boom, it cooks in half the time. You don't even have to worry about it. Super easy cleanup and it's safe. I mean, I've never had a problem with it, so yeah, it's not like your standard pressure cooker that you have to keep an eye on. Enough about the pressure cooker, let's get to the recipe. But I did want to mention something. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I recommend that you hit that subscribe button right now, because I have a ton of recipes coming that you guys are not going to want to miss out on. If you guys want to check me out on Instagram, I will leave it right here. I post there more frequently and I poll you guys and I let you know what videos are coming up or what ideas I'm brainstorming that I want to share with you guys. So enough talking. Without further ado, let's get started cooking our arroz con pollo. So these are the ingredients that you will need for your arroz con pollo. Feel free to take a look at the description box below where I have all of the ingredients and measurements listed for you guys. I am using boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I always use chicken thighs for this recipe, but usually I try to go for the ones with the bone in. There weren't any available at my grocery store the day that I went to pick them up, so I used boneless. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but when you use the chicken with the bone, it just adds a little bit of extra flavor to your rice. If you have chicken breast or chicken drumsticks on hand, you can go ahead and use those for this recipe as well. You're going to need a can of sweet peas, which is optional. You can also use some sweet yellow corn. You're going to need garlic salt, cumin, a little packet of Sazon Goya, the yellow one with Azafran because we will be making yellow rice. You will need a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, some white rice, some golden cooking wine, a little bit of green or red bell pepper, some onion, some tomato paste, a chicken bouillon cube, a garlic clove, you can use one or two, and a bay leaf. If it's a large bay leaf, just use one. Mine were a little bit on the smaller side, so I used two. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make your sofrito, which is your cooking base. If you haven't watched my sofrito video, I will be sure to link it right up here. Basically, all you're going to do is add in your onion, your green bell pepper, a little splash of cooking wine, and your garlic clove, and you're just going to give it a quick chop. And watch me struggle with the food processor for a little bit. You just chop them up. If you aren't picky about veggies, you can just go ahead and chop them up by hand if you don't have a food processor, but they will be a little more visible than if you do it this way. Just give it a quick pulse. And this is what it should look like when you're done. Just go ahead and set that off to the side in the refrigerator. Now this is the pot that I'm going to be using. This is my electric pressure cooker. This is my baby. I absolutely love it. I use it for so many dishes. If you don't have one, I really recommend this one and this brand. I've seen it on Amazon, but I know that Navarro sells it. So if you have a Navarro close to you, go ahead and pick yourself one up. I'm telling you guys, like, my mom has one, my aunt has one, my mother-in-law has one, and we are all obsessed. It's great. So to measure my rice and my water, I use one of these little cups that came with my rice cooker, and it is equivalent to 1 cup. So I just took 2 cupfuls of rice, and that is what I use to measure my rice. Into my pot, I'm just adding 2 cups of water, my cooking wine, which was about, I would say, 6 ounces, and then I went ahead and seasoned my chicken thighs with some garlic salt, and I added them into the pot. I know it looks like a lot of liquid, but that's a good thing because what we're doing first is cooking our chicken, and we're actually making a stock to cook our rice in. So what I did was I just went ahead and put the top on, and based on my settings, I just set it to chicken, and boom. All we're doing here is just cooking the chicken until it's thoroughly cooked, and we're creating that stock. So if you don't have one of these pressure cookers, you can go ahead and do this in a regular saucepan, in a pot, in an Instant Pot. Yeah, we're basically just cooking the chicken. It's nothing crazy. Once the chicken cooked, all I did was remove it from my pot and set it aside on a plate. Like I said, do not throw away that liquid, reserve it. What I did was I just poured it out into a separate cup, and I just cleaned my base so that we can start putting our rice together. So once I set my liquid aside, all I did was put my base back into the pot, add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. I added my sofrito that we had previously put in the food processor, my tomato paste. You can use tomato sauce as well, but trust me guys, it's a huge difference when you use tomato paste. I don't know, just gives it a little something extra. All you want to do is just saute this, soften up those veggies, cook them up a little bit, and let them start releasing their flavors. Once they've cooked up for about a minute or 2, you're going to add in your rice, and you're going to start moving it around. This helps your rice not be like super sticky at the end, and it kind of just helps you have like a drier rice. Just mix it around for a little bit, and then we are going to add in the liquid, our stock that we had reserved. And I'm using 2 cups of rice, so I'm going to add about 2 cups and a quarter of liquid. So I'm adding about 2 1/4 cups of liquid. I went ahead and gave it a stir, and it didn't look like enough liquid to me, so I went back and added, like I said, just another quarter. I added my Sazon Goya packet, my bay leaves, and my chicken bouillon cube, which I just crumbled up in my hands. And then I added my cumin. I kind of just eyeball the cumin, but I would say maybe about 1/2 teaspoon. I went ahead and gave it a mix. And then you want to add your chicken right back into that pot right before you put the lid on. If you notice, I haven't added my peas because with the pressure, they'll just completely dissolve. So I wait until the end to add in my peas. So I just close it. I set the valve on, and I set it to cook. Now this pot has a rice setting, so I set it on the rice setting for about 15 to 20 minutes. And when I opened it up, this is what it looked like. Now, right when you first open up the pot, your rice might look a little bit sticky, but don't worry. If you're using this pot, I would recommend that you let the pressure release on its own before you open it. It has a little safety button, and once that little button goes down and the pressure has released naturally, just go in and start moving your rice around. If you release the pressure manually and you open it up, I found that the rice tends to stick to the bottom. So just let your pressure come out on its own. Be patient with it. And you can see that the rice did not stick to the bottom of the pan. Now, once this starts cooling down a little bit, you're going to see that your rice is not as sticky or as moist as it appears once you first open up the pot. So all I did was break up my chicken pieces and distribute them all around the rice. If you had used chicken with the bone in, you could just go ahead and remove the bones from your rice because the pressure cooker would just take that chicken right off the bone, and the bones are so easy to just pull out. If you aren't using a pressure cooker, you could also go ahead and debone your chicken before adding it into your rice. Once you move your rice around and break up your chicken pieces, you can go ahead and add in your green peas or your sweet corn, depends on the one you're using. This step is optional, but I wouldn't leave it out. This is how we love it in our home, and it is so, so good. And this is how my arroz con pollo turned out, you guys. I went ahead and plated it with some cucumber salad and, of course, some sweet fried plantains. Guys, this is so good. This is like comfort food in our house, and it's so easy to just throw in your pot and cook and forget about it. And guys, I really hope you give this recipe a try. With the holidays right around the corner, this is definitely one of those recipes that you could just double up on and throw it in a pot and invite your entire family over for a really good, delicious home-cooked meal. If you enjoyed this recipe, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a ton of recipes coming up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!